Okay, so I'm going to start off by sharing with you the titles of 3 different news articles. The first one being, Michelle Obama never placed her hand over her heart during the national anthem. The second, FBI agent who exposed Hillary Clinton's corruption found dead. And the third, President Donald Trump donates his entire $400,000 salary to rebuild military cemeteries. Now, all of these articles seem like they would be correct. I mean, Michelle Obama definitely could have been seen not placing her hand over her heart during the national anthem. An FBI agent could have been found dead for an act of corruption. And Donald Trump could have donated his salary to help build cemeteries for veterans. However, they all present themselves as fake news because they're all incorrect in some way, shape, or form. However, how do we know? Fake news is non-credible news that spreads misinformation about a person or a subject. This misinformation can be used in order to make somebody look bad or to build someone up when it's not necessarily true. The articles that I gave as an example represent a type of news when they were used in order to make somebody either look bad or build someone up when it was untrue. The news source that published these 3 articles, ABC News, seems completely credible, doesn't it? I mean, we all know ABC News. However, it's not the real ABC News. This is the real ABC News. The slight difference in the logo and the web address make it seem like it's the correct source. However, it does create fake news. Most people don't know the difference between the real source and the fake source, which is what creates false information amongst people, especially students. So I guess you're asking, why am I telling you all of this? So let me backtrack a little bit. My freshman year of high school, I needed to select an elective course for my sophomore year. Not knowing what to do, I decided to go with journalism because teachers and my peers had recommended it to me as a fun class that I should take. I didn't really know what I would have to do except for the fact that I would have to write articles. I didn't know what they were about. I didn't really know too much. However, I thought it might be fun. So I was put in the headlines section or main news section on staff, which basically covers things happening in our school around us. However, I didn't know why we had to write stories the way that we did, why we followed a certain format when we wrote our stories, and why we had to interview so many people when we were writing them. After a little while in journalism, however, I realized the importance of what I was doing. By spreading information to the community around me in my school, I was sharing what was happening and engaging people into the community. Whether it was something like a breaking news event or something silly like Spirit Week, the people around reading my articles were seeing what was happening and being more engaged. Now that it's my 4th semester in newspaper, I realize what an impact journalism has in the real world. When people write something, others believe it, regardless of if it's true or not. My journalism background and the publication that I write for keeps our articles credible. However, people in the real world don't always do so, which is what creates fake news. Fake news and the importance of journalism is very important for our generation. Students and the rest of Gen Z need to know what's happening in the real world. In the future, we're going to be in charge of voting, running or working in large businesses, or creating technological advances. And if we don't know what's happening in our world today, how are we supposed to translate that into the future and create a society that will benefit us and benefit those around us? Based on a Pew Research Center quiz that asked people to take a quiz based on current events out of 12 questions, these were the results amongst the different generations. Our generation scored about an average of 5.9 out of 12 questions correctly. Generation Y scored about 7.8, and Gen X scored about 8.4. Our generation shows a severe gap in knowledge about current events. However, why is that? Our generation has all of this access to technology. I mean, we all have phones, we all have Chromebooks. However, none of us know what's really happening in the world. This is a problem because news is available to all of us easily. We're able to use free news sources that give us credible information. However, we're not learning about it and we're not looking it up. One of the main reasons because of this is our school system. Because our school system is so centered around AP and honors courses, teachers don't give students time to actually look up information and connect it back to the world. Because it wouldn't be helpful on the AP test, teachers don't feel the need to connect what we're learning back to the real world, and so we don't actually pay attention to current events. In addition, our school systems are so focused around standardized testing that we don't learn how to use current events in our real world. We just learn how to take a test. In the future, we will be able to do very specialized jobs. I mean, we're in very difficult classes, some of us, and we will be able to use our skills and be specialized. We'll be able to be scientists, lawyers, engineers. There's so many different opportunities. However, if we don't know what's happening in our world today, how are we going to use our specialized information to transition our society from today to the future? Journalism and the importance of news is the transition to that. By knowing what's happening in the world around us, we'll be able to transition our society from the past to the future and create a community that's better for everybody. Thank you.